Every 8 seconds, an animal is euthanized due to the increasing amount of pets in the U.S. Help save a life by adopting. Every 8 seconds, an animal is put to sleep due to the increasing amount of pets being brought into shelters each year. According to the American Humane Association, approximately 8 million cats and dogs enter shelters each year, but only about half make it out alive. The rest are euthanized. However, the number still shows an increasing amount of domestic animals reproducing at an exponential rate. Research has shown that a single female cat can produce up to 3 litters a year, with an average of 5 kittens per litter. In only 7 years, she and her offspring can produce 420,000 cats. And in just 6 years, one female dog can produce as many as 67,000 puppies. There are a few places here in Kalamazoo where you can have your pet spayed or neutered. One is the Kalamazoo County Humane Society, where depending on what kind of animal you have, can range anywhere from $35 to $65. There are endless excuses as to why animals end up in shelters each year. You can make a difference. Adopt. We've interrupted your regularly scheduled programming for this important public service announcement. $17 million people all over the U.S. acquire a new pet each year. Sadly, only 20% choose to adopt. By choosing not to adopt, the chances of having your pet spayed or neutered are significantly reduced, thus adding to the overwhelming increasing issue of pet overpopulation. Here, at the Kalamazoo County Animal Control, is where they shelter cats and dogs who are waiting to be adopted. What are the main causes of pet overpopulation? To find this out, I interviewed the director of the Kalamazoo Animal Service and Enforcement, Steve Lawrence. So what can people do about pet overpopulation?
Number one is have their animals spay neutered. Even if they can't or they don't feel they can afford it through a veterinary clinic, most counties have humane societies or SPCA's and things like that. Here in Kalamazoo, we have the Kalamazoo County, or the Kalamazoo Animal, we have the Kalamazoo Humane Society that has their operation Fix It. They offer low-cost spay-neuter. In fact, if people are in a bad enough way that they just don't have any money at all, sometimes they'll even work out with them that they can volunteer an hour or two with them loading food bags for their food bank or things like that to pay off the spay neuter, because again, their number one goal is to see that their animal gets fixed. Animals running loose becomes another issue, especially if they haven't been fixed. That tends to be why the large number of pit bulls and pit bull mixes that you'll find in most shelters, because you have a lot of animals that the irresponsible owners, or the owners that don't keep their animals on their property or get them fixed, tend to be the ones that will run loose, and unfortunately a lot of them, they happen to be the pit bull owners. So, and then you also have a lot of people that are breeding pit bulls because they think they can make some money off of them. It's 25 or 50 bucks a pup they think they're going to get, and then when the pups start getting too big for them to be able to afford, and they haven't found a home for them or anyone to buy them, they end up at our shelters.
Do you believe that part of the problem is that you're underfunded to send the message out about pet overpopulation? Or would you say that people just choose to ignore it?
There's a lot of people that just choose to ignore. I think it's been enough years that people have been stressing to spay neuter. There's still a lack of education in that, where people are concerned about it. They personalize it. Men generally personalize a dog getting neutered and say, oh my goodness, I don't want to do that to my dog. Unfortunately, people that have dogs for sport or they want their animal to be aggressive, they do not want to get it fixed because they're afraid fixing the animal will make it more passive. And unfortunately, then those are the type of dogs and the bloodlines that then continue to get bred, and again, we start to get more aggressive animals. We are funded probably less than, we definitely are funded less than most departments within the county, and that's across the country. You'll usually find that an animal control is probably the bottom of the totem pole as far as funding, which is understandable when you figure all that the county has to fund, roads and everything else. I think the hardest thing I've seen is trying to raise money. We currently have been working with the Kalamazoo Humane Society to build a new shelter here in our community. They would own it, and the county would rent the space, so it's a savings to the county. They don't have to build the facility, and then anyone that donates to it then can write it off because it's a non-profit they're donating to, not the county. So it's a good collaborative effort and good cooperation between the two. What we found is most of the people, especially the larger donors, do not look at animals as very important to donate to. They feel that human issues are more important, which is understandable, but when less than 1% of every donated dollar goes to an animal need, and 99% goes to human needs, there's a point where, as a community, people need to realize that the animals also are human needs. The animals also do, working here, you'll see, daily, people coming in here in tears that want to keep their pet, they can't afford their pet. Even people that don't like animals, what we do here affects them. The more animals that the more people that we can address, educate on proper socialization of the animals and stuff, the person that doesn't like animals but maybe is a jogger or rides his bike, won't be worried going down certain streets that someone's dog's going to come out and grab them by the legs. So, I mean, it does affect everyone in the community what we do here. And I think people realizing that maybe donating to some of the animal causes is also human interest or human needs.
Would you say that pet rescues were part of the solution or the problem?
There's a couple of problems. One of them is you have rescues out there, and again, my feeling of what a rescue should be is not always what a rescue is. To me, if a rescue is going to come into a shelter like ours to try to save some animals, they would talk to the staff and find out which ones we've been holding the longest here and get them out of here so they don't go cage crazy, they don't get sick here, save them. Unfortunately, when we do have rescues come in here and we lead them to those animals, they'll look and say, well, that's a pit bull or that's a black lab, we've already got 3 or 4 of those. How about this dog over here that's, semi-feral, has, and no one can really work with it. I think we can save that. And it's frustrating because here you have a bomb-proof dog that we've found to be an excellent dog and can be adopted out right away, but they want to take something else. The other thing is rescues get a lot of their animals from other counties, other states, and then they bring them here and they're adopting those animals out here and they're not taking them from our shelter. And it's amazing how many people I've heard make the comment, well, we only get our animals from no-kill facilities. It just doesn't make sense to me. Well, let's see, okay, so facilities where we don't have a choice and we have to put animals down that we don't want to put down, you won't adopt here because we're putting the animals down, so you'll adopt from somewhere where the animals are already safe. Okay, that makes sense to me. You're not helping the problem that way. Everyone that works here loves animals as much or more than most anyone else, and I wouldn't have anyone that worked here that didn't. And that's why it is a difficult, but we all feel we would rather have someone that cares about the animals have to put them down than someone that, hey, how many animals you want me to whack today? We're just having to do what has to be done.